Welcome traders. In this quick demonstration we are discussing longer term charts. Now we have taken QQQ weekly ETF to discuss this. Now QQQ is a weekly chart behind me, and I'm going to deploy solar trend lines. We are going to just click on one pivot of interest. So market is going here. If I click on the ultimate high, I get the projections of QQQ. Now this is one projection, and then market reacted very beautifully from here. Then it went down again big time, came back to retest it to the tick. We are interested in the tick level accuracy in our business here. Right here it goes down again. Now the question is, how do we handle if we take that pivot and market is going down? We have other ways to find those bottoms, but we want to just check how the trend lines can be used. So always the idea is, if you catch the trend, try to stay away from getting aggressively fearful. And these trend lines can be drawn using an offset method. So here we have, you see the trend lines coming from here. So what we do, we don't, in a professional setting, we don't do trend lines like these, because we have a control. Now this is solar trend line for a reason, because we are using the power of solar offsets to stay away from the market. So I take this pivot on the right side of this market, which is here, the first one, and same thing I will do here, and I will beam a trend line. So one thing you will notice, this entire year market was down 2022 until the end, and it took off for next 1 year. So your $250 shares became around $400. Now that is one objective. Okay, so what we do is, when this is formed, it is still going down. We don't know if it goes down to 200 or not, right? So we want to stay in the trend without getting chopped off. So that is one projection, and the other projection is coming from here, is going to get to the another offset, which is going to be right here, right there. So what I have done is, first this line is there. Now this is one of the fake outs, you can see, and goes down. So if you use the traditional trend lines, we see these kind of issues. Okay, so that is the whole key. Now if you look at this other trend line, so let's draw that quickly. I think we draw too many trend lines here. So what we do, we don't draw it the way I showed you, where people take it from the pivots and all these things, right? So what we do is, we look at these vertical lines and we see the distance between the pivot which we see here and these vertical lines. And what we do is, we create an offset model. which is based on 2% a month, 3% a month, 4% a month, based on some additional volatility models, right? Some cycles, but this is done because big players don't want to get in and out every 2 weeks. So what we can do is to change the slope of the line, like this way, make it slower or make it slower. This is where the grand trend lines also come into picture. That was the true intention and the idea of using these lines. So how do we handle that? So if I want to go from this slope to this slope, I have to lift it up and reduce the slope. So what I can do is, if my pivot is starting from here, and this is a pivot of interest, I need to see on the left side where we had the max distance between this line and this, and it was actually this pivot itself. Okay, on the right side we have this to be the maximum distance. Okay, and if you go to this line, on the left side this is the max distance, on this side you have other distances as well. So what do we do? So if I'm suspecting that market is coming here, I think we have to look at the other objectives also. From here we can project it using our different models that we are going to be hitting here. We can use projections, we can use the bottom picker we just discussed in the one of the videos. So what we can do is, okay, now I want to be staying in the trend as much as possible. I will take the offset method and I will look at this line, and this was the line. Then I'll go to the next line and say which method can I pick on the right side. The first one is here, was market just made this, right? Market is here only. Market is here. Market is here. If it had gone up, I could have even have a higher slope. Look at this lines here on the top. So I'm going to slope it up properly. Now there are various applications. I'm just showing you simple application, right? So this was the pivot and it got rejected after that. Okay, and we're gonna stay at that offset level. Now see what happened. If we drew it this way, we have moved under the natural energy of solar fire. Right here, we moved from this slope to this slope. Next one over. From here to here, added more slant. By doing that, what has happened here? We had a price projection right here. Support become resistance to the tick. Time and price merged. Our other models are existing to do all those as well, which we will start exposing them. But here you can see that it kept you in the trend all the way down till this point. This is how you stay in the trend without stopping by, and this is where the true angles need to be discovered. And this is what the tool was initially telling us to do, and people made that into Gann angles, structures. Now we're dealing with something, a different kind of phenomena. So that is how we can pick the areas. Okay, once you leave this interesting area, now you want to stay long as possible. So I will let you think about it for 5 seconds. Look at this chart for 10 seconds and see how will you stay based on your financial objectives away from the market. So you have to find the true trend line, natural, solar, empowered trend line. All right, great thoughts. Let's collaborate on your thoughts and see if you made it in the right direction. So here, this is the bottom. We locate the vertical lines at this bottom space, and I want to see an offset, which is offset is right here on this space. So I'm going to the left. That's like the way I went to the left. And then here also I'm gonna probably go to the right or go to the left. So I'm trying to create my natural offset angles, and there it is. From this point and this point, offset point, offset from this line, offset from this line, I created this structure. Unless this is broken, we're gonna keep long. It will come up and down, up and down, up and down. Unless it strongly breaks below, we stick to the structure. And now you say we don't want to give up so much profit. Well, we can have one more slanting level line. Now, how can we do that? Again, same thing. We can use these lines which are offset from this area because this is the bottom. We went here long, and now this is where I'm keeping myself long. What else can I do? So in this area where I went long, this is one method. Now if I want to draw a line aggressively sloping up, so I have to go below, closer to the pivot, and find the biggest one, which is somewhere right here. And I will beam this to the bigger one where I want to beam it from, which is the right side pivot right here. So this is the next sloping line. If you want to do it more, then this is another one. If you want to do it more aggressively, this is the next one right there. See right here? Boom. So the question to be answered is, we are making the all-time high, we are at a certain level, what next? Stay in the trade. What is telling us to get out of the trade? Nothing. It may come down aggressively, it has to close, right? So from this point, it is reflecting back, reaching this space right here. Remember. Now we can flip this tool on the other side. So this is how your aggressive trend lines are drawn. You will say, I need to get more aggressive. Okay, we can get more aggressive. Again, this is where the portfolio management comes into picture. So from this point, I can use this bar. Okay, and I go long, very aggressive. So this is how the trend lines are supposed to be drawn. So that's the gains. Now if you see here, this is offset on the left and offset on the right. We can use any of those. And this is the, I will not go much deeper than that. So if I go here, so there's a high probability that you may be crushing down here. So hopefully it comes down here all the way to the top side, and you may get a pullback. If it keeps going up and down, right? So you draw these lines and see your objective. And this is how we set up the objective. So if you are long, no reason to get out. So if you want to stay longer and longer, you use the slope, which is right here at the bottom. If not, we have other objectives you can meet. So initially you have to keep it like this, the lowest one. Let it play out, multi-year. Now you want to lock in your profits a little bit better, you go to the next one or the next one. You want to stay away from the market. All right, so this is, I think, a great approach, an effective professional approach to doing effective long-term holdings. I hope you liked it. Thank you so much.